Hello everybody, I just wanted to make this video tribute to Joan Jett, who's going to have a brand new album coming out later this year in 2013. I've been a Joan Jett fan for over 30 years now, and I just thought I'd share some vinyl with you and also some autographs of the Runaways and Joan Jett. So anyway, let's get started. First one, Joan Jett, self-titled album, which still has the shrink wrap on it. Crazy Eddie sticker. I thought it was only sold from the trunk of the car, so I'm kind of surprised that I found a copy like that. Then it was re-released as Bad Reputation. First album that really got me into Joan was I Love Rock and Roll. This is when I first heard of her. This is when I first became a big fan. I love the album. I like to get albums in their original shrink and with stickers on it. And this is the version that had Little Drummer Boy as the last track. When the album was re-released a second time, it had Woe Is Me on it. I don't know if you can see that, but Woe Is Me is the bottom track on the second version. It seemed like forever before the next album came out. Back in those days, if you had to wait like a year and a half or something like that for an album, it seemed like forever. These days it takes 6 years to make a new album. But anyway, I remember the first time I heard this album, called Album. I had my headphones on, I was lying down on the bed, and the first time I heard the song Handyman, I thought I'd died and gone to rock and roll heaven. A great rocker, that song. And so was the French song, which was another one of my favorites off this one. Then it seemed like another long wait, almost a year and a half, for Glorious Results of a Misspent Youth in 1984. And then we had 1986, Good Music. Soundtrack album to the movie Light of Day with Joan Jett and Michael J. Fox. Then 1988, Up Your Alley. $1990, The Hit List. I always like this cover. I think it's a great photo shot. Recently, I got some newer vinyl. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts' Greatest Hits, long overdue. Double album set. I love the new versions that Joan re-recorded of the Runaways song, School Days, and especially You Drive Me Wild. I think that she does great on those new versions. Here's some Runaways albums. We start with the first one, The Runaways. Then, still in the shrink wrap, Runaways Queens of Noise. And my favorite Runaways album, or one of them, Runaways Waiting for the Night. I'm kind of partial to when Joan Jett took over as lead vocalist. It's a good rockin' album, and although I still like Cherie Currie, I really like when Joan kind of took front and center. And now the Runaways, the last official Runaways album. Here's a picture disc. Runaways, the Little Lost Girls. Runaways. And here's, still in shrink wrap, the best of the Runaways. Okay, kind of pressed for time, so we're going to go right to the autographs. In 1983, I was only 21 years old, and I sent letters to Joan Jett. And believe me, I wasn't a stalker. The letters were very, you know, down to earth and innocent. And she sent me this picture, autographed picture. I don't know if you can see it that good, but the good thing about this picture was she drew two arrows on the bottom, as if to say, turn over. And when I turned it over, I got this. A very nice little note back here. She wrote, sorry for no letter, way too busy to write. I hope to see you someday. sorry, this has to be short. Keep dancing. And this was in December of 1983. I received this either between Christmas and New Year's time, I think. And very shortly thereafter, I did get to meet Joan. That was at an event in March of 1984, where she was nice enough to sign this album. And when I met her, she confirmed for me that she had written that other letter, and it was her handwriting. And she knew me by name because she was used to my letters, and she shook my hand and never let go. She was the greatest, most upbeat, happy to meet her fans. She wrote, to Joe, nice meeting you. Love, Joan Jett, which is really pretty amazing. I mean, she's so respectful of her fans. I can't tell you. Everybody knows this who knows Joan. And, you know, she's, to this day, from what I've seen, she still respects her fans and is a real class act. And so is her manager, Kenny Laguna. He's great. Also, at that same event in March 1984, she signed the second album for me, which was also very nice. And at this event, the Blackhearts at the time were at this gathering, and I got a piece of paper signed by Lee Crystal, Ricky Byrd, and also Gary Ryan. So that was nice to have as well. Then, because I guess because Kenny Laguna and Joan Jett kind of knew about me, they were nice enough to invite me backstage at one of their gigs in February 1985. And that's going back 28 years now. There it is, right? 28 years ago. At least I still have all my hair. That's Joan and myself backstage, and you know, what fan wouldn't love to have an experience like that? It was really nice of them to let me go back. Then in 1986 I met Joan again, and she signed this nice picture, You Rock On, which I really thought was nice. And the last thing I'll show is the Runaways live in Japan. I didn't get Joan to sign this yet. I hope to see her again and maybe get a signature. But Cherie Curry and Sandy West, just shortly before she passed away, sadly, well, they were at a convention together, and I was able to get the signature. I don't know if you can see. I'll try to hold it up. And I'm very happy to have that too. Well, I'm running short of time until I get a longer camera. I'll show some more things another time, maybe. Take care.